Sup everybody, James here with another video review for you, and today I'm doing a review of Transformers Prime Powerizer's Optimus Prime. Well, here we have the latest addition to the Transformers Prime Voyagers. Of course, this is the most recognizable Autobot, and of course Transformer, Optimus Prime. Now, I'm just going to get rid of his weapons in the back here for a second, and just study on Optimus himself. Now, in comparison, which I do not have, unfortunately, but from what I'm just going to be honest with, in comparison to the first edition Optimus Prime, this one is much shorter. For me, you see this entire section here, it feels very cramped up. In comparison to what I think was the first edition, really for this here, it seems very cramped up again, and well, it just doesn't feel as long as it should be. But the other funny thing I find about it is, now if you ignore the entire blue section at the back, all of the red part at the front, all of this is the main robot. All of the blue at the back are the legs, which I think is quite funny in a way. Because if I was expecting a Transformer to be something like this, I would expect, parts to be, for example, the arms to be in the back, the legs to be in the front. Well, of course, that's what, with the legs in the front, that's what the movie Optimus was, but still, putting everything aside, this is a nice looking toy. I mean, you have the very recognizable red Autobot logo on the front, you have nice detail all throughout. A very nice, socket for the trailer, or trailers, to peg into place. And it is nice that there is a little hole, because if I just take, for the sake of argument, his sword, I just peg it in, it fits very well, and it spins freely, so, that is a nice little touch. Now, my apologies if you think that I sound like I have a really bad cold. Unfortunately, I now do, because my nose is entirely backed up, but moving on. Now, if you guys notice, in the vehicle mode as it should be, these little headlights along the front, along the top are here, but notice how they're also here. Now, that's to do with the robot mode, of course, but this was actually pointed out in one of the early Transformer reviews by a YouTuber whose name I unfortunately don't know. But, moving that aside, it just seems funny that they're both there. But still, for all the size of it, and despite, the one or two minor complaints, this is a very nice looking, detailed, and very nicely detailed truck. Now, the funny thing that I actually found about this truck, which was actually quite convenient to Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime, Peter is actually Canadian, and since in the movies Optimus was a Peterbilt truck, well, no, not trying to be funny there, since Peter was Canadian and this is a Canadian truck, I just find that a little bit convenient. But nonetheless, it is a very nice looking truck, faults and all. Now, just for a second, I'll look at his weapons. Here we have a sword, which for the most part looks okay. Unfortunately, it seems just a tiny wee bit small, and for some reason it just doesn't have the same feel as what a sword from the TV show should feel like. Now, here we have Optimus's weapon. Now, last night I did a small modification to this gun, which basically meant I not only got rid of the annoying LED light inside, but I also got rid of the spring, so it now locks into place. I'm happy with my modification, but I will not let my mod, bring the marks for this thing up. I'm just going to keep it what I originally thought. So, the gun's in place, it looks good. And you can actually connect both of the weapons in one or two places, just for storage anyway. But, yeah. But anyway, let's just take a look at Optimus. Now, Okay, since we have Optimus here, he rolls incredibly well. Absolutely no faults with the rolling. Very nice detail. Some missing, but nothing to worry about. But yeah, now for a very quick size comparison, here he is with Deluxe Rumble, which I now have, by the way. Now obviously he towers above Rumble, you know, because wait. Oh, sorry. Since he's a Deluxe, he's a Voyager, you know, huge difference. But for me, there's a very nice size scale. You know, with a truck, you would expect it to be very high off the ground. With a car, you expect it to be relatively low. So really, this is a very good size scale. In fact, if I even just pull out Ratchet for a second, now unfortunately Ratchet does seem a little bit small, but in comparison they still do come off very well. So putting those to the side, let's get on to the transformation. The first thing you need to do is unpeg these tabs on either side. So basically just simply take it from the top and pull out. From the top and pull out. Then, taking the wheel section, you need to just push in on it at this section very carefully and then just pull down. So that way it disconnects. Push in and pull down, like so. Then, taking the front of the grille, just pull out a little bit, and then that will loosen up this main bit of the truck, up here in the cab and all. Now, taking the wheels at the back, just push them down a little bit, and then they will start to bend at what are going to be the knees. So fold these little pieces down, which will form the front of the legs, and there's a little peg here and a little hole here, so they will just peg into place. Now they won't stay there, but they are well anchored in, so they're not going to loosely fly about. So you split the legs and fold out the foot. Fold out the foot. And there we have the legs. Now this is where the tricky bit comes into play, so I'm going to have to bring up the camera. Okay, so next thing I need to do is, after folding these to the side, actually fold these here up the waist like this, you know, it'll give you a bit more room. You just fold this little piece up, then taking the top of the truck, you need to split quite a bit of this away from it all. So the first thing I would recommend doing is taking this cab roof off. So you need to sort of push forward on it a little bit, trying to get this front section free, which is in my case a pain in the butt. There we go. Oh, thank goodness. So yeah, after freeing that, you just fold it back and then split it. Okay, so now you have something that looks like a complete mess. Now these wheel sections here, you actually need to fold them in to the back like this. That'll help more room, give more room up top. So the next thing you need to do is you need to move the arms out a little bit like this, and then fold out at this point here. I apologize, the camera angle isn't great, but I'll try my best. So fold it out a little bit and fold around to the front. Okay, so then these little pieces here at the back, you need to fold in a little tab here, a little panel here, a little panel there, and then just fold them up and around a little bit, up and around a little bit. Okay, then rotate the arms down so that way this top is facing you. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Just need to find something to lift it up on. If you just give me a moment. Okay, that's looking better. Now the next thing you need to do is, ensuring this little piece allows you to see a little clear hole, you need to take the grill from the top of the truck and just fold it back, which will reveal his head. Okay, So next thing you need to do is take this part and ensuring this part slides up and in, fold this bit forward as you do so, and then fold up. Now ensuring these arm guards here don't get in the way, fold it all the way up and just try to ensure that it pegs into place. Now once you do that, fold the hand down, rotate the arm, fold it down, rotate the arm, and then fold this entire piece in and down. There's a little peg that'll tap into a little gap just in the arm, just about there, so you'll hear a little clicking sound, like that. And once you hear that, that's securely in place, fairly in place. Then take the windows and just simply push both of them to the side, which will create a little gap in the middle. And after that, all you simply need to do is fix them up. And there we have Transformers Prime as Powerizer Optimus Prime in robot mode. Now I must say, this is a very nice looking toy. The detail is very, very good, I will say that. Unfortunately, there are, in my opinion, a few minor... oh, sorry, blocked nose. There are a few minor details missing. For example, although on this side it is nice to see that there is an Autobot logo, on this side there isn't, so very, very bad show accuracy, which, you know, is unfortunate. But for me, this giant thing here is a huge, huge problem for me. It looks like a giant hulking chest plate or whatever. Well, of course it is, like, but you know, it just looks far too big in my opinion. But you know, I'll move on to articulation just to speed things up. So his head goes side to side. It goes 360. It goes up and down, and it looks down quite a bit too. Of course, his head is stuck in the middle of everything. But his arms can go forward and back, in and out. They can, in fact, go 360, but because these little things at the back get in the way, and just ensure that they're actually free a little bit, and you can actually get full 360 arm articulation, you know, spinning around like. You get a 360 pivot up above the elbow. It bends 90 degrees at the elbow, and the wrist pivots in and out because of the transformation. Then the legs themselves, they go forward and back, but they get blocked a little bit because of in here, but they can go forward and back, in and out, pivot 360 at the thigh, they bend at the knees, they pivot quite nicely at the foot, and because of the transformation just in here, you can actually pivot the foot about and get some really good, you know, stances. You know, just as long as it doesn't look totally weird. But, you know, some relatively similar. Now, of course, this brings us back to the weapons. So we'll start off with the sword, and he can hold it like a normal sword, like that. You see, for me, if I wanted to look show accurate, I would have folded up his hand like that, and pushed the sword in from the bottom. Although it looks absolutely stupid, for me, that's as close as TV show accuracy as you're gonna get. That's what I think. For the gun, you know, whenever you have it folded out like this, now remembering that I modified this a little bit, you can actually peg it into a little hole in his arm, but you can't peg it into his hand if you want to. But for me, that just looks weird. So, like everyone else, just peg it into the arm. It looks relatively okay, but I would have preferred if the gun was actually in his hand. But nonetheless, the weapons do not bring the marks for this guy down. Although the gun itself is not greatly designed, I will say that this guy is an amazing toy. The face, I actually forgot to mention, the face is incredibly well detailed. As I said before, a heck of a lot of detail, although some is not highlighted as it should be in my opinion. Really, I think this is worthy of a good mark. Now, although I had my doubts about actually buying this toy, really, I'm glad I invested my money. In all honesty, I just think that, well, this guy deserves a good mark. Not because he's Optimus Prime, and not because the Transformers Prime TV show has received many Emmy Awards, which it has, by the way, great to go. Really, this is a good toy. Now, the details are very good. Some of them I will customize later. The biggest is the arm, because the Powerizers thing, I think, is just stupid for the Voyagers. But nonetheless, this is a great toy. Go spend your money on him. I highly recommend him. And that's pretty much it for now. Oh, by the way, one last thing is, with the gun, I do actually plan to modify it a little bit, so that way I can actually take out the hand and place the gun in. Now, a good friend of mine, Jack the Animator, does actually have this Optimus, and he has customized the gun so that way it fits into place. I'll be asking Jack for some help later on, but I do think he's coming from the right direction, because really, you know, the gun on the show's not this hulking huge thing, and it extended out of the arm, not above it. But that's my opinion for you, and really, well, just for the basics, this guy cost me £25 where I live in the UK. I'll be nice and I'll give him an 8.5. That's the best I can give without being, you know, totally biased. But, you know, but that is what I'm gonna say. You know, it's a good toy. It's worth your money, and in my opinion, it completes anyone's Transformers Prime collection. I hit my nose. But yeah. But for me, that's it for now. Okay, this is Knight/2020 Junior. Subscribe to my channel for videos and more. Like me on Facebook by searching for Knight/2020 Junior. Have a nice day, see you all around, and until next time, see you guys.